couldn't walk to your door, couldn't bear to call.
Welcome to the Radiant Enchantress show today. Thank you for joining us. Today I'd like to welcome Heather Vickery. Heather is an award-winning entrepreneur, business owner, and transformational life and business coach. But Heather isn't just a savvy businesswoman, she's an inspiration. The founder of Vickery and Co, Heather is a featured expert in achieving an authentic and meaningful life and designing your own roadmap for balance and success. A mother of four, Heather's world turned upside down after a major life transformation and divorce. Suddenly, she had the freedom to be her own authentic self. She discovered that this same authenticity empowered her with the confidence she needed to repair, rebuild, and reach her life's vision and goals. Today, Heather leverages her entrepreneurial skills and expertise to coach individuals towards greater personal and professional fulfillment. Through her story of personal bravery, perseverance, and resilience, Heather inspires audiences and empowers attendees with the tools they need to live bold and meaningful lives. So hello everyone, I'm super excited today to welcome Heather Vickery to a Radiant Enchantress podcast. Heather and I just recently met on Facebook through the Women's Speakers Association. And so welcome, Heather. Thank you so much for taking time today.
Oh, Jane, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I've really been looking forward to this.
That's awesome. So I'd love for you to tell the audience, our audience, a little bit about you, where you come from, your journey to where you are today, to being a successful entrepreneur, and I'm sure that there's a lot of information there.
There is. I'm like, wow, we had a short interview here and a lot of story. No,
yeah, I know. It's like, wow.
So I am a success coach. I do life and business coaching, but I love the term success coach because I firmly believe that if your life isn't succeeding the way you want it to, you're never going to get where you want to go business-wise. So I always say I will do life coaching without business coaching, but I won't do business coaching without life coaching. Those things are important. And so many of the systems and tools that we implement, that we work with, parallel both our lives and our businesses. Yeah. So, that is something that's important to me. But I come at this from a really interesting background. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. When I first moved to Chicago, I'm in Chicago. I've been here for about 22 years now. When I first moved to Chicago, I started my own business as an event and wedding planner. Now I have one of Chicago's most celebrated luxury event wedding planning firms, but it sort of runs itself at this point. I have an awesome team of people, and I get the joy of doing about 4 weddings a year, which is a fun creative outlet for me. Kind of a crazy move around story. So I'm a single mom of 4, and many years ago, I would say, the time passes faster than I feel like I've aged. So
yeah. Well, everybody feels the same.
Sometimes I'm like, wait, has it been that many years? But it has. So about 6.5, 7 years ago, I came to terms with some things personally. I realized I was married to the wrong gender. He was a really nice guy. It just wasn't going to be a long-term solution. We had beautiful children together. And I sat with that information for quite a while. I wasn't sure what to do with it, right? We don't get married to get divorced. And I certainly wasn't rushing into that. And I had a wonderful friend, and he was a nice partner. And finally, one day I was sitting across the table for breakfast looking at all of my beautiful daughters. And up until that point, all of my decisions had sort of been fear-based, right? What was I least afraid of? And then I would do that thing because that seemed manageable. And I looked at their beautiful little faces and I thought, what would I tell them if they came to me in the same situation? What's the advice I would give them? And it wasn't, you made your bed, now sleep in it. It was, go be who you are, find your authenticity. That's what the world needs. The world needs you to be yourself and choose happiness. And I also really wanted them to look for their own partners that were full partners in every sense of the word. And so I wasn't modeling the behavior that I needed to for them to go where they wanted to go. And it was amazing, honestly, Jane. It was like a lightning switch right there. I knew at that point that I could do anything because I had to show them that they could do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, I took actions to finally follow through and get a divorce, which, is not an easy process. Even when things are amicable, it's difficult to do. And I also started listening to the universe and what it was saying. I felt like business-wise, there's something that was going to shift, and I just didn't know what it was. And I started to realize I was coaching. People were coming to me. They were emailing, stopping me at events, calling and saying, I want to try this. I want to change this. I want to do this. And I think you can help.
Yeah.
So when I started to really see that was something people already saw in me, I decided to go for it, which was crazy. When I think back, I'm like, I can't even believe I just said, yeah, I'm going to start charging money for this. But I'm really quite good at it, and people love it, and they respect me for it, and they already saw me in that role. So I was able to partner many years of entrepreneurship, so systems and strategies and customer service and communication, which I have a communications background from college, with my own personal transformation. And I always say my superpower is hearing what somebody says and reframing it in a way that's really actionable for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to marry all of those things. I come at the woo-woo and the mental and the metaphysical from a very analytic standpoint, and that works. It works for most people. So yeah, that's a long version of a long story, but I shortened it as much as I could.
Yeah, I get the woo-woo thing. I've had comments from people about, well, I'm not sure if I want to come on your retreats because I don't like the woo-woo stuff. And actually, in actual fact, I'm extremely down to earth, and if they want woo-woo, they can have it, but yeah. I don't offer that. So it's interesting you should say that as well.
Yeah, I'd love to find a new word. I'm on the search. If anybody out there has a new word for woo-woo, let's patent it. No, but I have a client, it's funny, who is very type A. She's very analytical thinker, not woo-woo at all, and really fought me on a lot of this stuff. And one morning I got a text message from her that said, fine. Just tell me what to do. I need to manifest this thing that I want. She had a very specific vision. And I said, are you sure you want to play? And she said, yes. And I said, okay. So she'd been losing client after client, right? Mm-hmm. And I said, can you close your eyes and picture a cup that's overflowing? And she said, what's in the cup? I said, whatever you want to be in the cup. Whatever's in the cup for you is important, right? We actually joked. She said, is it bad that they're jewels? I said, no, because I think that means, some sort of a visual abundance, beauty and abundance in your life, right? It can be anything you want. And I said, whenever you start to feel negative or anxious, I want you to close your eyes and picture your cup overflowing with jewels and just tap into how that makes you feel. And she said, what if I don't think it's going to work? I said, I don't care. You don't have to think it's going to work. Just do it. I'm all about the placebo effect, right? It doesn't matter if it's real or not. If it actually elicits the change and the response you want, who cares how you got there? So lo and behold, she did it all day. The next morning I got a text, I booked the client, right? But it was a shift in her. It was a shift in her energy and her mental space and how she came to the conversations. So who cares how you get there, as long as it works?
Exactly. So a few minutes ago, you were talking about the fear and and being fearful yourself, but then switching it around.
Yeah.
Tell the audience about that, because so many women, humans, but women in particular, have that fear of the unknown, and until you change it in your own head, it doesn't change.
I've played with fear a lot since then. And in fact, I have an entire speaker topic called So What? Do It Scared. I don't believe that the goal is to be fearless. Having fear gives us the opportunity to be brave. And that is powerful. that is motivating and encouraging and exciting, right? Knowing that you've made brave choices is really a gift that you give yourself. And my own coach, because I firmly believe you can't sell something you're not willing to buy, my own coach says that all fear lives in the future. Unless a bear is actually chasing you at this exact moment, what you're afraid of doesn't currently exist. And so if you can stay present in your moment, that's huge. And then what I ask clients is, can you know 100% that this thing you're afraid of is going to happen? Well, no, we don't know anything 100%. What could happen that you would like to happen? So right then they start to tap into that small percentage, or it grows, of what could happen that would be good if you tried this thing that you're afraid of. And usually if we can open up that door just a little, we can get enough courage to give it a try. We start to discover that the very worst possible outcome is something we can actually live with,
right,
in most cases. And so it's just sort of talking your way through that fear and realizing that the thing you're afraid of, it probably doesn't really exist.
Yep. Yeah. I have a thing, because I used to be really fearful as well. I'm fearful of doing anything, especially speaking on stage. And, I don't know, I think the first time I spoke in front of, it was 600 or 700 people. I mean,
Wow.
that was the first time. I mean, that was,
wow.
yeah. So I said to myself, this was like 13 years ago, something like that. And for me, I stand in my power. I get my feet really grounded. And now, and so then there's no fear in that present moment, right? So if you live in the present moment, there is no fear. I mean, your brain tries to protect you from what might happen, but now I look at it very differently, because when I have those little butterflies in your tummy,
it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It means that I am moving from where I am to where I need to be.
Yeah.
And I now worship those little butterflies that come in my tummy.
I love that. I always tell people that everything you really want is just on the other side of uncomfortable. So if you feel comfortable, you're not probably pushing yourself. And I think those butterflies are awesome. I think it's fun. And then, you can partner some tactical tips with it. I gave a advice for somebody who was giving a speech this past weekend. And I said, just look over everybody's head. If you make eye contact, it might feel too intimate. So, we can do the stand in your power. And I think that's important. And yes, you want to push yourself through and keep going. But also sometimes there are just some skills you can possess that help. And also I always try to encourage people to tap into why they're standing there. And to remember that we have gifts to share, right? I have clients who, people don't want to hear what I have to say. Well, but why would they want to hear what you have to say? What are the things that you can do that can change their lives or their businesses? And stay very rooted in that. You have a gift to give. They are really lucky that you're sharing it with them. So you're not wasting their time. They're there because they choose to be there. And so kind of playing those games with yourselves to remind you that people want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was like, I've been wanting to do podcasts for a long time. And I was like, I never took the time. I thought it was this complicated thing, right? And it's really not at all.
I suppose. I'm in that process. I am just launching my podcast, which is actually, interestingly enough, called The Brave Files. And so we are interviewing people who have triumphed over fear in all different capacities, personal, professional. It's really fun. And same boat, right? Like I was going to overcomplicate this and I just decided not to do that. So
yeah, no, it's been so much fun. I just meeting new people and all over the world, and it's been just a great journey. So so this is a wonder. How did your children, your girls, react when all of this went down with your husband and the change of lifestyle?
So my darling girls, we are very fortunate. We live just on the outside of Chicago and in a very a wonderfully diverse community of people. They never bat an eyelash at who mommy was dating or not dating. They quickly embraced any sort of words. They were happy to share at their classrooms. Oh, my mommy's gay, or whatever. They didn't have any issues with that. The divorce was hard. Divorce is still sometimes hard because it's a huge shift for them. That was the most difficult part. But who I am and how I want to be in the world and who my partner is, they're very, very loving and supportive. And that just never seems strange to them because we are surrounded by people who have all sorts of partners and lives. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's a great story for others who go through the same situation, I'm sure.
Reach out to me if you're in that boat. I'm amazed by the number of people that feel connected to that and reach out, because it is a difficult thing to do. I was 38 when I finally came out publicly, and it was scary. But I told my mom, who didn't take it well at first, but now she's doing great, so God love her. Every time I would come out, I felt like there was a little more air in my lungs.
Yeah.
And eventually then I was able to take a full deep breath, and I hadn't realized I hadn't done that for the majority of my life.
Yeah, because you weren't the real you.
That's right.
That's amazing. So that's very cool. So do you have any favorite books that you'd like to share?
I do, of course. I should always be learning. I have two. One of them is, it's funny, it's a book that's geared towards business, but it's helped me out in life in a number of ways. It's called Leadership and Self-Deception. And it's the concept of changing how you think about and interact with somebody, which then changes how they think about and interact with you. It's a great book.
Wow.
Not the most, it's written like a story. It's not the most well-written book. I have an English and theater degree. I'm a little picky about that kind of stuff, but get past that because the concepts are really big and easy to understand for really big life-changing concepts. Highly recommended. And then the other one is Shonda Rhimes' Year of Yes, which if you aren't familiar with it, hurry. It's such she is such an inspiration. This fabulous, fierce Black American woman who dominates the American television scene, which is very rare for women in general, certainly women of color. Mm-hmm. But she realized, she came to this book, she realized that she was saying no to everything. And she decided for an entire year she was going to say yes to everything.
Wow.
And then all the different ways she said yes and how she shifted. And of course, the realization that in order to say yes to one thing, you say no to something else, mm-hmm. and vice versa. When you say no to something, you say yes to something else. So when it comes to eating, right, I was saying yes to eating whatever I wanted, but I was saying no to being healthy and feeling good. Well, I decided to say yes to being healthy and feeling good, right? Mm-hmm. So it's good, it's smart, it's funny, and there are just a million takeaways, and every woman should read it.
That's awesome. Have you ever thought about writing your own book, or have you done that already?
I certainly have thought about it. I haven't done it yet, but I think this is my year. I have an audio course. So it's all the content comes at you kind of like a podcast in your inbox.
Oh, nice.
It comes with a workbook, and it also comes with group coaching, which is fun. It runs 3 times a year. So we're in the middle of a session right now. The next one launches at the end of May. I did that. And after I got past that audio experience, which I really enjoyed, I was able to push myself on my podcast. And so now that that's in motion, I think book is next, and I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to share that with me when it gets done, so I can post it on our website. We have a resource page that is it's not done yet, but I'm working my way to doing that so that we can offer all of these different resources to our audience.
Awesome. Yeah, I would love to. I'll keep you posted for sure. Thank you.
That's so cool. So is there anything else you'd like to share today with our audience?
Well, we could just share and share and share. I could talk all day, do a marathon. But really, if I could leave everybody with one thing, it is to tap into your inner bravery. You are stronger than you think, and you have gifts to give. And don't deny the world those wonderful gifts.
For sure. Yeah, I love that. I'm totally with you.
Thank
So
you.
this has been such a pleasure meeting you and talking with you this morning. And thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to connecting with you further
Absolutely.
online. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be
absolutely. Let's stay in touch. This is my year of connection. If anybody out there likes what they're hearing and they want to chat with me more, you can go to my website and connect with me. So it's vickeryandco.com. And I would love to connect with anybody.
great. Yes. And do you have an email or another
I
way?
do. Yep, it's Heather at vickeryandco.com.
Beautiful. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll share that online as well. So thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
All right.
Arya.
You are a goddess.
We hope you enjoyed this enchanting conversation today, and we look forward to having a new conversation with you in our next show. Our shows will be broadcast approximately every 2 weeks. We wish you much love and light in your life today. Thank you.